Bill Johnson and Doug Lewis take on the powerful Europeans led by Swiss star Hermann Zurbriggen. World Cup downhill coming up next.
100 pounds and is the defending champion from here in Val d'Isère. Skiing well, loves this course. He's going to be tough.
Michael Meyer, obviously a master of this course. Kristen Cooper has had a chance to study it, and now it's your chance to ski the Val d'Isère downhill with Kristen Cooper.
Exploding out of the gate of the Val d'Isère downhill, a racer must madly skate and pull to build up maximum speed before dropping into a low aerodynamic tuck across the top flat. On this course, a racer must be aggressive and yet relaxed, keeping legs and ankles loose to absorb minute changes in terrain, and leaving the skis free to float across the snow, searching the fastest line. The terrain starts to undulate now as the Val d'Isère Valley looms up from below, and speed increases from 50 to 60 to 70 miles per hour, and the racer approaches the infamous Colombin jump, which, if not perfectly absorbed, can catapult a racer up to 200 feet in the air. Legs begin to burn now, tempting a racer to come out of his tight egg-shaped tuck, but a few deep breaths restore concentration. This is where our cameras pick up the racer again, entering the tunnel jump, which forces him into the air, though the fastest line is on the ground. This section of the Val d'Isère downhill is wild and turning. The tunnel jump leads into the compression, a section of S-turns negotiated as if skiing into and out of a bowl at 70 miles per hour. Months of physical training are put to the test. The racer shoots out of the compression and onto a short traverse, struggling to get off his edges and onto a flat ski. The final schuss is sparsely covered with snow, leaving every bump exposed to knock a racer off balance. At speeds of 70 miles per hour, the finish line finally approaches, and the racer breathes a sigh of relief to be at the bottom of the Val d'Isère downhill.
The Val d'Isère downhill, site of the 1992 men's downhill in the Olympics.
Cup season, the European portion is underway with the defending World Cup champion. A steep and icy start, then a long, flat gliding section, and then they go through a section called the Colombin, a very difficult jump, and we will pick him up here, coming out of the meadow, Mark Giardelli.
You can see how they've gone into shadow in this portion of the course, and it's very hard to make that transition with your eyes. A good jump there. Mark Giardelli is good in the air. He can't be happy about having gone number one today, although it's very hard snow, so it won't have as big of an effect as it normally does.
Through the compression, Mark Giardelli, Greg Lewis, and Kristen Cooper back in Val d'Isère, France, and now the last sweeping right-hand turn, a high-speed turn close to the fence, Kristen.
He skied that quite well. You need to get as close to the fence as possible to let those skis run.
Very bumpy here. The legs are tired. Just a little bit to go to the finish line. Another 100 meters for Mark Giardelli. Second here 1 year ago. Our first racer, 2:02.88 for the Luxembourg World Cup champ. Now on the course, Erwin Rush of Austria won this race in Val d'Isère in 1983. One of the tough Austrians. In the air there off the tunnel jump. They've had some trouble this season.
And he's nearly a full second ahead of Mark Giardelli at the halfway time. This man skis to die, as we say in skiing. He always goes all out. It is all or nothing, and he's doing it today. He has not been skiing particularly fast in training, so this is a fantastic run for him so far.
And again, along that long traverse, close to the fence there, about 65, 70 miles per hour, and the last left. Look at the terrain here. Very little snow cover in Val d'Isère, so every ripple in the snow is visible, and it is pounding his knees. Erwin Resch into the finish line. The time, 2:01.87, a second faster than Giardelli. Resch in the lead. This is Karl Alperger of the powerful, all-powerful Swiss team on the course. And he had a great year a year ago, starting with 2 wins in Las Leñas, Argentina, and then he started well this season also. Karl Alperger coming out of the meadows now, getting ready for the tunnel bump. Down low, looks like a good position, Kristen.
An important section of the course here. He got a little bit wide and a little wild with his arms. You need to stay in the tightest position possible because that's the most aerodynamic. Again, the more time you spend in the air, the slower you go.
Alperger has had excellent training runs here. The Swiss are really the titans of downhill now. They have been tough to beat. Alperger close to that fence, down low.
He's coming off an injury last year too, so you know he can't have too much confidence here in this first race of the season, but it looks like he's skiing well.
Alperger trying to absorb those last bumps, be as smooth, as quick, as low, streamlined, fast as possible. Into the finish line. The time to beat belongs to Erwin Resch. Alperger will not do it. 2:02, and that puts him in second place. So right now it's Resch, Alperger, and Giardelli. Lots to come, including the Americans, Doug Lewis in that first seed.
So after 3 races
of the Swiss team, a former winner here on this Val d'Isère course that was back in 1984. Greg Lewis and Kristen Cooper coming to you from Val d'Isère, France, with the opening men's downhill of the 1986-87 BASF World Cup season in Europe. Heinz into the tunnel bump.
And a very good halfway time, and he's good in the air there. You can see how much speed he's carrying, Greg. He's letting himself go a little wild and yet keeping a nice low position. This man's carrying some speed. He is known, by the way, as being really the best technician of the Swiss downhillers, and they are all good skiers.
We know how good they are. They completely dominated the opening races in Las Leñas, Argentina. They picked up 54% of the points down there. So the Swiss are starting the year off well. The European campaign underway right now. Erwin Resch has the time to beat. 201.87 seat on the lower left. And now Franz Heiser, the 84 champion here, has taken over the lead. 201.82, 0.05 of a second faster than Resch. Who is this masked man? The robber of the World Cup. He has stolen so many titles from everyone else. It is Peter Müller of Switzerland, and the Swiss are in the lead right now here. Franz Heiser taking over from the Austrian Erwin Resch. And the Austrians in the finish line must be worried again. Müller, always tough.
You always have to worry about Müller in any race, and of course he's coming off a win in Argentina, so he's already bringing confidence into this European campaign. And skiing well, nice low position, very quiet. Müller is a very solid skier. He's with a very quiet technique. A little bit wild in this section, but that's the compression. It tends to throw you off your skis.
A delicate touch, Peter Müller, and this patented tuck of his, which has beat so many in gliding sections of the course. The long traverse, his skis just swimming over the snow. Oh, he goes wide, catches a little bit of edge, recovers quickly. Can Peter Müller take over from his teammate, Franz Heiser? 201.82, the time to beat. Into the finish area, it'll be close. 201.74, Peter Müller by 0.08 of a second. The leader here, he has never before won in Val d'Isère, but last year finished 4th. The Americans still to come: Doug Lewis, Mike Brown, and Bill Johnson. Leonard Stock on the course from Austria. 1980, he won the Olympic gold medal in downhill, but by 1985 he had fallen from favor on the Austrian team, had to pay his way around the Europa Cup, and now has made the comeback of the decade. This man is an excellent racer, is skiing downhill very well. In fact, he's the only Austrian in Argentina to get into the top 7 in either race.
Looks like he's a little bit slow at the halfway time, but remember, you can't tell. There's a lot of room down here for improvement, and Stock seems to be skiing well. He is skiing with a reborn enthusiasm. His coaches say he's like a little kid in training. He loves it, and he's working hard.
Leonard Stock got his first taste of championship way back 10 years ago, was the world junior champion in both GS and downhill, had a period when he was best in giant slalom, but now coming back strong in downhill. It's Leonard Stock, a big man, about 6'1", powerful legs, skitters there, into the finish line, 202.19. Stock will not be too happy with that. Only 5th place right now, and several top racers to come. So it's Müller and Heiser, the Swiss in the lead. Erwin Resch holding up the flag for the Austrians in 3rd. Another Swiss in 4th, Karl Alpiger, and then Leonard Stock. On the course, defending World Cup downhill champion Peter Wernsberger. This is Greg Lewis along with Kristen Cooper, Val d'Isère, France, the opening downhill of the European portion of the season on the BASF World Cup Tour. This is Peter Wernsberger, and he came out of the starting gate very aggressively. Hasn't had good training runs, though, Kristen, and the pressure is on, I think, for him.
A very good halfway time. He's really going all out today, as he said he would. He wasn't happy with his training runs, and he said he was going to take it to the limit today, as indeed he is. He has been attacked by the Austrian press so far during these training runs because he has not been fast.
And he is taking it to the limit, hanging on the edge there, right along this fence, won 4 downhills last year.
Remember, too, that they've been almost 2 minutes on the course here, and in training, they do not train really any longer than a minute and a half, so they're tired and working to the death to keep their legs underneath them.
Those legs burning, the quadriceps tight and sore as they come down this last stretch, 202.31, only 6th right now for the defending World Cup champion. This has not been a great course for Peter Wernsberger. The Swiss, 1st and 2nd right now. Müller in the lead. Michael Mayer comes out of the starting gate. 230 pounds, about 6'3", the defending champion of the Val d'Isère downhill. His only victory, and he is a tough one here on this course. Michael Mayer, that big sweeping right-hand turn, such a powerful skier.
And he's fast at the halfway time. Indeed, he is the fastest. And look at him here, the nice low position. This guy knows how to let him run in this section of the course. He's been saying that he's tired in the bottom sections of the course and has been losing time.
We'll have to watch for, standing up there. That'll cost him some speed.
But for a guy who's this big, he can afford to get a little bit wild because he's got so much momentum going for him.
Greg Lewis and Kristen Cooper, Val d'Isère, France. This is Michael Mayer, last year's winner here. How will he be standing up? He looks high as he comes in here, tries to get back down low, but he can be deceptively fast. His time, will he be fast enough? 2:01.34. Incredible. Once again, Michael Mayer's had a superb run. He has taken over the lead from Peter Mueller. So it's Mayer, Mueller, Heinzer, Resch, and Alpiger, the top five. Remember the Americans to come. The smiling face of Michael Mayer, the leader right now.
1 second.
His brightly colored suit. Will he have a brightly colored performance, though? This is Doug Lewis. He has had troubles here in training. Doug Lewis along the flats at the top. How has he carried his speed around the right-hand turn here? Greg Lewis and Kristen Cooper in Val d'Isère will get a split time for Doug Lewis. Only 10th fastest as he comes off the tunnel, and it's been a tough start for him.
It has. He hasn't even been in the top 20 in training, and he's already discouraged at the start of the year, which is tough to see. He seems to be searching for his style and for his confidence, and he just doesn't know where to get it from. A little bit wild. Tail, his coach, has been working on quieting down his arms and quieting his style down, but so far it looks as though he's still skiing a little bit wild here today.
Certainly, as you know, confidence is a very big part of this sport. When you get into the starting gate and you don't think you've been skiing well and you're looking for the reasons, it's tough to be tops at the bottom. 9th fastest though, and that is by far the best run we've had from Doug Lewis here. Yet for him, exasperation, he is unhappy with that. Billy Johnson and his other teammate, Mike Brown, still to run here at Val d'Isère. Anton Steiner coming out of the starting gate, another Austrian, and he is going to try to unseat the Italian Michael Mayer and the Swiss, who are in second, third right now. It's Mayer, Mueller, and Heinzer. This is Anton Steiner, and they call him Jimmy Steiner because they think he looks a little bit like an American, but he sure skis like an Austrian, Kristen.
He certainly does. He had 2 victories last year. Really, after 7 years on the tour, they were his only 2 victories and his first 2 victories, and he's coming off last year with some confidence.
Through the compression, throws him up on the backside. Anton Steiner. And he was the only man on the Austrian team, actually only Austrian skier, both men and women, to get a medal in Sarajevo, which really astounded his country.
Looking good in this final section of the course again, keeping a nice, quiet, tight, compressed tuck through here.
The time to beat belongs to Michael Mayer, 2:01.34 for Steiner. Only 12th fastest, 2:02.94. And the head downcast, dejected for him. He will not be happy about that one. Coming out now, Helmut Hoflener. And it was just 2 years ago that this man was #1 in World Cup downhill. 85, he won the World Championship. 86 was a disastrous year for him, really. He was not up to form at all.
And none of the Austrians right now are really up to form. They feel that they're trying to gear for the World Championships, and although they are catching a lot of heat from the Austrian press for it, they're trying to keep confidence in their program.
Well, that's something to say. The World Championships coming up in February, Crans-Montana, Switzerland. This is just the beginning of the season. Nobody wants to peak too early. Yet, of course, they'd like to do well. Hoflener on the course.
An interesting story about Hoflener. Before every race, he has a Chinese massage. No one is sure exactly what a Chinese massage is, but it seems to loosen him up and get him ready for the race. Although today, he's still not skiing as fast as he'd like to, I'm sure.
Trying to get down low, coming into the finish line. The time to beat, 2:01, belonging to Michael Mayer. He will be way behind. Hoflener only 14th. And for the Austrians, that sends shudder through the Tyrol.
4,48 für Helmut Höflener, Österreich, 14. Platz.
Tall and lanky, but also fast. Markus Vossmeyer of West Germany, by far the best West German downhiller, has had excellent results in this discipline, although I guess you'd call him a GS specialist, really, Kristen.
Well, not only is Markus Vossmeyer good in GS and downhill, but in Super G and slalom as well. He is only one of only 4 men to score in all 4 disciplines last year. And there he is with a fast halfway time, second fastest.
Greg Lewis and Kristen Cooper in Val d'Isère. You are watching Markus Marcus Vossmeyer out of the competition. And this skier is looking smooth here as he comes around the last right-hand turn along the fence, about 65 miles per hour here.
A fantastic technician, as you can see. He skis smoothly and quietly with his upper body, and he is strong.
The time to beat Michael Mayer, 2:01. This man looks like he may make an assault on it. Into the finish line, Marcus Vossmeyer. It's going to be close. He is the leader. 2:01.15. Look at the ecstasy here. Marcus Vossmeyer in contention for his first ever World Cup downhill victory. And because he has started in a late first seed position, number 15 in fact, you've got to consider Zurbriggen of Switzerland skiing out of the second seed. And if he has any idea what Vossmeyer did, Zurbriggen is now fastest at the top, 126.11. Do you think this is the kind of course for him at the bottom, Kristen, that he might be able to take over from Marcus Vossmeyer?
Well, absolutely. He won 2 out of 4 training runs this weekend, so he has been skiing fantastically, and if anyone can do it, Pierman Zurbriggen can.
The time to beat, 2:01.15. Zurbriggen, 155, 156. He's down low. It looks like he may be able to do it. Bill Johnson still to come. Zurbriggen in. And it is Pierman Zurbriggen, the first man to be under 2:01 at 2 minutes, .98. And that is a 60 mile per hour average for this outstanding Swiss talent, the overall leader right now in the 1986-87 World Cup. And now on the course, another big Swiss strong racer, Daniel Marr, 27 years old, a plumber, but he doesn't ski like a plumber.
He is an incredible story, Greg. This man began skiing at 16, not racing, but began skiing at the age of 16, and here he is on the World Cup Tour not many years later.
Daniel Marr, a little wild around that corner, coming in now along the fence, trying to get low. He looks fast here, Kristen.
It's just incredible how much depth the Swiss team has. They just keep coming and coming, and they are just all so good and so talented.
Zurbriggen in the lead right now, 2 minutes, 98 hundredths, and here is Daniel Marr. He's had some good training runs. He's in ninth right now, 2:02.30. So it's Zurbriggen, Vossmeyer, and Mayer in the lead. Bill Johnson of the U.S. coming up. Now on the course, looking like he's wearing a Swiss uniform, it's the American Billy Johnson off the tunnel bump. How does he look? And we'll tell you about this uniform in a second.
12 fastest at the halfway, and his style shows it. He's just sort of in and out of his tuck, standing up. He doesn't have a streamlined position. He's just not skiing with the confidence that he needs right now.
All right, this uniform, he does look like a European racer in that no USA identification, and that was instituted this year so that we would have less of a threat of terrorist attack on the American team. The Subaru cars that they drive, also the USA ID taken off of them.
And Johnson's just wild and a little bit out of it down here at the bottom as well. This is not a good run for him.
The 84 Olympic gold medalist, a man who won 4 races that year, 16th here, 2:03.5, and he shakes it off.
The 16th turn, minutes, 3 seconds.
Greg Lewis and Kristen Cooper back in Val d'Isère, France for World Cup downhill skiing. This is Stefan Niedersayer of Solbach, Austria, 24 years old, and the Austrians have got their work cut out for them. We're into the second seed. If they want to have a victory here, this man, Niedersayer, has to beat Zurbriggen's time of 2 minutes, .98 hundredths.
Niedersayer was 5th here last year, so he knows this course and he likes it. But so far, he just, like all the Austrians, has not been skiing well on this course this year. They just don't seem to be at the top of their form.
Also, Kristen, you were talking about the Austrian coach has instituted a new training approach this year. Into the finish line, 2:01.65. Niedersayer coming on strong at the bottom part of the course. He is 4th fastest.
He really picked up time at the bottom part of that course.
So the extraordinaries of Germany on the course. And he, of course, must know what Marcus Vossmeyer did with his great run. Vossmeyer in second right now. And look at this, Bill Gruber, 5th fastest at the midway time. It's Greg Lewis with Kristen Cooper in Val d'Isère, France. And we have a good run here by Bill Gruber as he pounds his way through the compression.
I like to see this happening. Here's the guy from my generation, Greg. He's one of the oldest on the German team, still hanging in there. He's been around a long time and skiing well, as we can see. Again, I think we have to mention that it seems to be that the course is speeding up, both on top and on the bottom, as the sun glazes the course.
He was in the first seed last year, slipped out of that first seed, had kind of a tough season. Coming in here, though, 2:01.90, and running from the back of the pack. That's an excellent run for Set Bill Gruber, number 24. And from Britain, it is Martin Bell. He does not ski like your typical Brit. This young man really raised since his teen years in Austria.
And that's a very respectable halfway time. 13th at the halfway. This guy is really an incredible story. He works with the Americans and watches their video together when they're training in downhill. But really, he's a one-man team. He's on his own. He's working against the big powers of the Americans and the Austrians and the Swiss, and doing very well against them 5 times in the top 15 last year.
It can be lonely when you're from a non-traditional alpine country, let us say, trying to make your way. Martin Bell looking strong, though. 6th fastest, 2:01.80, and our British colleagues in the booth next to us are going wild.
26th time.
This is Mike Brown of Vail, Colorado, over the tunnel bump. Only 17th fastest there, but he has a chance to pick up on that, and he has had good training runs, Kristen.
He has. He's been in the top 15 consistently in training, and look at what a nice, quiet style. He's holding his upper body very quiet there, which is essential in order to keep on your skis and keep those skis running through this section of the course.
Val d'Isère, France. Greg Lewis along with Kristen Cooper, and we are watching here Mike Brown of Vail, Colorado. He may be the best American in this race.
Keeping a good streamline tuck, they say he's in the best shape ever coming into this season.
Last summer, worked as a mason. This stuff, I don't want to lay stones. I want to be a star on the World Cup. 2:02.43. Right now, that'll give him points. He is in the top 15, and it would be a good finish for Mike Brown. And now, Philippe Vénéré of France, 24 years old, on the course.
The French are still struggling to get back up to where they were years before when they had such a strong team. Here we see some good speed from Vénéré, but slow. 17th at the halfway. I don't think he's too happy with that.
Of course, this will be the men's downhill run in 1992. The Olympics just awarded to Albertville, France, down the road. Remember when they were here last? It was 68. Grenoble and Jean-Claude Killy won 3 gold medals. Can the French produce someone like that? Well, it seems unlikely now. They're still rebuilding from the early 70s, and they have to hope Vénéré can come along. 2:02.45 for Philippe Vénéré, 16th fastest. This is Felix Belgic of Canada, and he had some good performances last year. 4th in the Kitzbühel downhill, so he's not afraid. 29th fastest, though, at the midway off the tunnel bump, Kristen, and now heading toward that compression.
The Canadians feel that Belgic is really the next best young one coming up behind Brooker. They put a lot of confidence in this young man. He's still getting experience in this race here today. Not a lot of confidence, just trying to get the feel of World Cup downhill.
And it is early in the season, the first downhill of the European campaign. So everyone is just getting in touch at 70 miles per hour, that is, as they rocket into the finish line. It's Felix Belgic, 2:03.95, 29th for the young Canadian.
2 Minuten 03,95 für den Kanadier Belgic, 29. Platz. Time for number 32, Felix Belgic, Canada.
So the standings right, what a superstar. And indeed, he is the winner here in Val d'Isère, followed by Marcus Vosmeyer and Michael Mayer. We'll be back with more from this exciting downhill site right after this. Followed by West Germany's Marcus Vosmeyer, and in third, from Italy, Michael Mayer. For the Americans, well, a pretty good start here. Mike Brown, Vail, Colorado in 17th. Doug Lewis coming back into form with a 20th for the young Vermonter. Bill Johnson still having some troubles in the 30s. But Kristen, what about Hermann Zurbriggen? My, he is a phenomenon.
Well, he really is, and I think what's most impressive is that not only can he win in downhill, but he can win in Super G, in Giant Slalom, and in Slalom as well. And we have to say the same thing for Marcus Vosmeyer, who is also a 4-event skier. So I think we're seeing a trend in the World Cup. You know, I'm also impressed really by the encouraging start for the Americans. Of course,